RAM OCS. Graphics, speakers and smart. During the creation of a processed signal, we can see the answer in phase and frequency represented on the graph. By clicking on the Show Frequency Response icon from the Amplify Zone menu, we can show or hide this graph. The graph has three parts: the influence panel, the legend panel and the graphic response in phase and magnitude. Through the influence panel, we can select the parameters that we want to see reflected on the graph, to see how they influence the final result. Initially all the parameters are selected, but we can see the influence of specific configurations by marking or unmarking the corresponding box. For example, we can see what the response curve would be for a system if we eliminate the equalization output, for example, or simple check what the response would be with just the crossover section. The last selectable option in the influence panel is Speaker, which allows us to introduce the speaker data directly on the graph, which means we can see what would be the final result taking into account all the parameters and the speaker's own response. To do this, we should first load the response curve for one of the channels through the Speaker Data tab. There are diverse formats allowed: Clio, Smaart, Linear X, LMS, DAS32, Melissa, SatLive, etc., but always with file format OSCII. It is possible to adjust a reference level in dBSPL to add to each one. The speaker response data can include only magnitude or magnitude and phase. In the legend panel, we can select which curves we want to hide or select, and also choose the color. With the cursor, we can select the curve that we will use to measure frequency and magnitude that will appear on the graph. It's possible to show the response sum of all the curves by selecting the last curve named sum. On the other hand, to show the phase, we need to select phase, which will then show the phase response of each process. We need to take into account that to interpret the phase curve, we should first open the delay window, which is our phase 0 reference from which phase differences are calculated. In the response panel, it is possible to adjust the minimum and maximum values of the magnitude axis, as well as zooming in or out on a specific zone with the right mouse button, or displacing by using the control button. We also have the possibility of connecting RAM OCS to a measurement system in real time, in this case SmartLive. Through the Smart Link function, we can configure the parameters of our smart software that we should have installed and running in the computer. We would need at least version 7, and we would need to activate AP in the configuration options. By clicking on the Connect button, the smart system will transfer all the captured data in real time, and they will show on our response graph in real time. Through the legend panel, we can configure what we want to show on the graph, including now the smart response, both in magnitude and phase.